It's the Doomed and Stoned podcast with your host, Billy Goate. Hang out with us for the next few as we explore the music and the stories of the heavy underground. Brought to you by doomedandstoned.com. Hey guys, welcome to the Doomed and Stone Show. I'm Billy Goate, your host from doomedandstone.com, and with me, John Gist from Vegas Rock Revolution. John, welcome to the program, alive and well.
Happy to be here. It's been a good while, but geez, I'm thankful I get to talk a little bit about music today and get my mind off some stuff.
Some heavy stuff.
Heavy stuff for heavy stuff today, I guess.
All right, well, I guess all will be revealed in time, huh?
Yeah, about a week ago, I started feeling really off, not feeling very good, and so I did, start feeling like shit, and just got something to eat and drink and rest, water and all that, and then went to sleep, and then I proceeded to wake up like 3 different times, fully soaking wet from night sweats. So I didn't think that was this was sounding too good, I guess. So I, after lounging around, waiting for a repairman that never came to fix something, I decided I gotta get up. I'm gonna get up and get some Starbucks coffee, see if this will kind of kick me out of this. And while I'm at it, I might as well go to this little testing site for COVID. That's really practically right next to it. It's literally 2 blocks away. It's affiliated with Walgreens. And so just got in the, you stay in your car. Matter of fact, they never even get close to you even when you're rolling down the window. They're
I've seen pictures of it. They have like a little staff or something, or a little picture.
Well, they got a little cart that eventually when they put stuff on there so that you got to sign or read and then eventually stick that ungodly thing up my nose.
Oh, Jesus.
Listen, I'm not discouraging people from doing it. Go fucking do it. You have nothing to lose other than 15 seconds on each side of your nose and your life of that. Because if you need to water up your eyes a little bit, you'll get it after that. I mean, it won't be bawling crying, but you'll be crying.
Oh my God.
I don't know if I touched an eyeball or not, but it fucking hurt. So I did the test. I was in line for 15 minutes at the most. I'm in the car, air conditioning's running. I got music. I mean, the world isn't very bad. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Other than I was feeling like shit. But I just got some Starbucks. So, I'm like, all right. So I did the test, and they said, listen, you'll get a call within the next 24 hours, and it'll be from like a non-ID number. So we'll call you a couple times, and if you don't pick up, then we're gonna have to send you something in the mail. So just make sure to pick up. And I'm like, oh Jesus, I hate picking up and getting crazy ass, auto warranty people hitting me up. Oh, you
get those too, yeah.
Jesus Christ. So literally 2 hours later, I'm laying on the couch, my legs elevated, I'm hurt all over my body, I'm like aches and pains and just fucking dead after the coffee had worn out. I'm like, and they call and they break the news that I'm COVID-19 positive.
Good Lord.
And that was a very strange memory even to go back and think of that. Did I think maybe, something? Yeah, I guess, But once they told me, it was like, oh boy. So they don't give you a lot of information, I'll be honest with you, because no one knows what the fuck's really going on. And so, they said, listen, you need to rest, you need sleep, you need lots of fluids. I mean, it's the same old things they're going to tell you. Mm-hmm. And they said if you really start getting shortness of breath or, things like that, blueness in the lips, they said, which I'm like, God.
Jesus.
Then that's when you need to really, call for help.
Yeah.
So it was too late for me to call the doctor, and they said, of course, call your doctor and get some advisory from them. Yeah, a lot of help that does. So I talked to them. Well, I called them at bright and early in the morning because I couldn't sleep at night hardly at all with this. Mm-hmm. You're in such pain, and this coursing of whatever the hell is going on. And I was too nervous to take any medication because I'd heard about ibuprofen being potentially bad for you. And I read some other things that said it wasn't, but there were other things that still said, yeah, but if you can use something else. So I stayed away from everything, and luckily a couple days later, I did start taking some aspirin. But I called my doctor, I leave a message with one of them, and I didn't get a call back literally for 5 hours, and they knew I was like a top priority. And honestly, I didn't get much information. There's nothing they're going to give you until you're, on death's bed or whatever.
Right.
And they don't have a lot they just really don't have any information, and they're probably walking on eggshells, not wanting to give you something that ends up backfiring on them.
Right.
So I said, all right, and I let my building know because I live in a big building. And they were a little shocked at first to hear that, for sure. And I'm like, I said, hey, I used the gym a couple times a few weeks ago. I've been out to the pool, at least once, twice a week because, the vitamin D just is preventative. Plus, wanted to look good, and it was good pool weather. And it's not like I was every time I went to the pool, I was never even close to 6 foot with anyone.
Yeah.
I had a conversation with 3 guys from like 3 different countries, and we were like social distancing in a pool. Luckily, everyone had loud voices.
Yeah.
And so, anyways, it's been a journey. I mean, the aches, the pains, the coughing. There's some coughing for sure. A little bit more of recent. Waking up sweating nearly nightly, and I have chills. Big time chills at night, and I wear warm stuff. Like it's 100-some degrees out here, guys, and I'll wear another shirt, a long sleeve shirt.
Yeah.
And I wear that to bed too, knowing that it'll promote me sweating, because I've sweated out a flu before Psycho Vegas last year. Well, I tried to sweat it out until I finally just went for it. I was on death's bed just before the pool party at Psycho, and I had to leave the pool party at Psycho and come back even. It was that bad. So anyways, long story short, I kind of posted something today about it, and I really appreciate everyone that's who's listening now that put out there the well wishes and everything else. I certainly put it out there because I'm a person that was very careful first couple months. Didn't even have a drop of alcohol for like 20-something days until probably the first show I did with you back then. And over the last month, as I was feeling good, quite frankly, feeling like I'd taken care of my body, was doing a lot of things that I thought would help, fight off if anything was to come at me. And I went out a number of times. I went out about twice a week. But one of the nights I went out and there was live music, and it was my first show since I had one in March with Dirty Streets and Void Vader and Jason Walker. And so I did this show. I went. So those are the guys I saw a show with. I did a show with in March. But then on that Friday of last week, not last week, but the week before, I went to a show. And I'm not going to say the venue, but it's easy to find if you want. And hopefully they're taking care of business. And it was not vamped. And I about 4 days later is when I started feeling the effects. And I know for certain 3 other people from that exact same show got sick.
Yikes.
And I was literally with someone for lunch either earlier that day or the day before at a casino. And I even went out the night after that because I wasn't feeling bad. Over to Count's Vamped. wasn't around. We were like, I'm not around a lot of people when I'm there. I'm around like a little, kind of a circle of people with some, and there wasn't like hugging going on really or anything like that. But nonetheless, definitely within the 6 feet, definitely without a mask, and not one person from that night is sick. So, or yet, but I mean, it's been well over 9 days now, and a couple of them gone and got tested and are negative. So, I'm an inquisitive person. I like to research and investigate and see who, what, and where. And so I don't have the answers other than to know that there's a common denominator fact of 4 of us in one night in the same place. So, dude, it's nerve-wracking. It's nerve-wracking, scary, humbling. And it's humbling that people have gone out of their way to help me. So anyways.
Well, I honestly didn't expect you to feel good enough to do the show, but I'm really glad that you're here, and glad you're in good spirits, and we wish you speedy recovery, man. I
appreciate it. Yeah,
I'll
be doing this one completely sober too. Normally I've had a couple drinks or some smokes, but we're just gonna go on my natural ridiculousness as we talk about some unbelievable bands. I mean, this is a prime time playlist with a lot of hot off the presses songs, and then we mix in some other goodies along the way. So thanks for having me, Billy.
Yeah, thanks for being here, and let's jump right into it. So we opened with the classic, really. By now this is 5 years old, from the band Kind. Supergroup with the album Rocket Science and the track German for Lucy. And what's the big news on this? They got a new album coming out, is what I'm hearing?
That is the info I got, so that's great news. I'm fortunate enough to saw Kind. I was over in San Diego, and I saw him with Salem's Bend. It was my first time meeting Craig Riggs, who is the vocalist from Roadsaw. He's also the singer of Kind, and he as well is the drummer for Sasquatch. And Craig's done a lot of stuff. Like there's 15 other bands I could name, but let's just keep it to those. But this song was easily one of my favorite songs of that year. It's a band out of Boston. The drummer is Matt Cueto, formerly of Elder. And Daryl Shepard on guitar, and he's from, what was the band? He's from Black Pyramid, I think. Yeah, he's been in a bunch of bands. And then Tom, I think his name's Tom Carino. Oh, he's in some band that has like a Russian name. I forget what they're called. I hear a train, and it's not mine.
That is, yeah, I was wondering whether you could hear that in the background. I live pretty close to a railroad, but also there's just a common little stop there too, because there's a little mill where they, drop wood pulp and things like that.
Yeah,
so
is it run of the mill?
It's run of the mill, and so it's that time of night where they're out in full force, and we might be hearing a couple of these as the evening progresses.
But to get back to Kind, always interested to hear about our trains, as I have the same over here. Kind has a new album coming out in September on Ripple Music. You're going to hear Ripple Music a few times today because they got some stuff coming out here, and the samples of what is put out here are really good. So I have not heard a sample yet of Kind, but we expect it to come up here soon. I know it's locked and loaded and done. I've checked in with Matt and Craig and Todd Severn over Ripple many times, so I can't wait to hear it. It'll be out in September.
Fantastic. And that band you were thinking of was Rosamov.
That's it.
Yeah. All right, well, let's jump into the first segment. We've got 4 awesome songs ahead, and I think they complement each other really well. You're off to bat first here.
I'm going to stick up there in the northeast, up there in Baston,
All right.
with a band that this is off a 2019 album called Departed Souls. It's the band Magic Circle. I picked the title track at that. Was a top 10 album for me last year. They mix, I mean, it's metal with some doom in there.
Mm-hmm.
But oh my God, the vocalist, his abilities to sing, it sticks out for metal or doom.
Yeah, it's kind of like I don't know. It kind of reminds me of Rush a little bit, like classic Rush. I knew you were gonna smirk at that.
Holy shit!
Well, I mean, what would you say? What would you compare them to?
Oh my God, that's so weird.
Since we're all
I don't have a fever, thank God. Or I'd probably heat up a little more, I bet. I just think they're too powerful to be in that Rush kind of world. Way too metal, way too heavier. Feels darker.
Oh, sure. I'm talking about the vocals, though. Like
vocals. Yeah, I don't think he. You know, I'm gonna break it out honestly. I'm not a huge fan of Geddy Lee's vocals all the time. And this guy definitely isn't as high. Like Geddy has that kind of that high shit.
Yeah.
This guy not as much, but then he hits it when he needs to. But he doesn't. That's not where he stays. Yeah, but that's not where he stays.
Sure, and I think that's why it stands out more is because like he accents the song with those high notes, but he doesn't stay there a lot. Yeah,
it's their third album, and they've all been rock solid, folks. And here's the thing with Magic Circle, they're one of those bands. No Facebook.
That's true. Yeah,
that's just blasphemous at this point.
Yeah, I mean, like I said in the last show we did, it's a lot to keep up with, but man, it brings people together, and it lets you know what's going on when people are promoting your band, and I don't know, I guess.
When Facebook for bands, it's plain and simple why you do it.
Yeah.
Well, there's a lot, but one reason in particular is database.
Mm-hmm.
So it's your followers gaining and grabbing more followers, and people, obviously there's a chain effect of all the great things, but just on Facebook alone, those followers are then the people you will directly market to in hopes of selling merchandise or your music. And so, you know, if you really want to be bands have to worry about that stuff a little bit, or have someone worry for them, as I keep saying. And I am becoming hired for that some, and we'll let bands know if you're for some bands that are good, I'll even help them with that, because you will automatically have people care about you and support you if you have good music and you engage people a little bit. But that database, in other words, meaning all those followers, the only way you get to all those followers is you have to run, whether it's a $5 ad or whatever, it has to get to them. If not, you post something, you're lucky if you get 20%. So there's a whole art and science behind that whole Facebook thing. But back to the subject of Magic Circle, I heard they're not even really kind of a band. They're like these dudes that are in all these other hardcore bands together as one band that does this, and they play live some, but not a lot. As far as I know, they never tour.
It's like a side project that all of us in the Doom world are like really enthusiastic about, and they're like, yeah, we kind of do that once in a while. And in the meantime, we're like critically acclaimed.
Yeah, I mean, dude, if I was still doing, like if I did Planet Desert Rock somewhere, again, you know, Vegas, Florida, wherever the fuck, that'd be a band I would probably be like, hey, you guys want to get together and do this? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Because I believe in their music. So that actually matters more to me than anything. You can check with anyone that goes to any of my shows, festivals. That's important. And these guys are just one of those bands that just they have a certain special quality, even with the writing. The song's good. That's it.
Yeah, my favorite song off that album is I think it's called "Found a Way to Die."
Oh yeah.
And that's the one that reminds me of Rush's "Closer to the Heart."
Great song. God.
Yeah.
Closer to Heart. It's a classic.
Yeah.
I mean, not to be a dour note here, but
Closer to the heart.
yeah.
And then you've got found a way to die. So I mean, they're not similar, but they got
Yeah.
that cadence, you know. So
Oh, I never thought of that till you brought it up. That's
yeah,
interesting.
see, making connections tonight.
Yeah. But then I noticed, you actually had this song up first. So I'm like, all right, I can't lead off with something weak before this fucking band. So tell us a little bit about your pick.
All right, so Goatsnake is back in quotes. Basically, they've released a pair of B-sides from their Black Age Blues albums, two songs, and the song I selected is called Breakfast with the King. It's got a great groove to it. I mean, it's just a rocking song all the way around. The only thing that bothers me about it is, what the hell is Breakfast with the King? Is this like about Burger King? Is this about Jesus? What the hell is this about? Like, when you're listening to the lyrics, it sounds groovy and you want to go along with it, you want to sing along with it, but I'm one of those people that kind of wants to know what I'm singing about. And Breakfast with the King is just like probably the weirdest title I have encountered in a while in the stoner rock scene. Like, all right. Anyway, I thought about it way too hard, and I know I wasn't high either. I just Breakfast with the King, but it's a great song, man. I mean, once you hear it, you're gonna be like, doing your thing, headbanging or bobbing your knee or whatever you do with music. It's got that rhythm. You're gonna move to it.
Yeah. I really love that last album they did too. Actually, we talked once, I think, offline. I mean, I actually need to go back and dig into the first two, but I really like that album. So this is a good little groove, man. I wonder if it refers to the idea that if you were ever able to have breakfast with the king, what would you talk about or try to do?
Maybe, yeah.
I like that idea myself.
It gets a little weird lyrically as the song goes along. Like, it talks about, like, tripping out, like old people tripping out and stuff like that. So, like, that's what kind of made me think it was about Jesus, right? Because when I Googled Breakfast with the King, the first thing that comes up is, like, a daily devotional for Christians. So I'm wondering, like, okay, is Pete telling us something here? What's going on? Has he become a born again? But regardless, and even if he had, it's still a rocking song. I love it.
Yeah. The next band, I will pronunciate live for the first time. So there's my disclaimer. And I'll probably get it right. People are like, how else would you pronounce it? People say it to me once in a while. I'm just like, you think it's easy? All right.
The pressure is on the show to pronounce things correctly.
Kanawha.
Oh, yeah, you got it. First try.
Picked the song Back and Forth off the new album The Sky was first to fall. This is brand new 2020. I love to give credit where credit's due. The person who shared this with me was Mr. Bucky Brown. Telling me about Reno. So this is some Reno band, and so I think I asked Bucky once, I'm like, do you got anything going on up there? Like, are there bands that Reno gets so few shows. Vegas was getting very few shows until, we were getting some, but not too many of them for the last 3 years. We've gotten a fair amount, and I never once was hit on or talked to anyone from Reno. You know what I mean? And I was like, God, that is just, because we don't even have really. We have two kind of stoner rock band, like one stoner, one doom, and one band that doesn't want to be called it, but plays most of the shows. It's, and a lot of these bands are even, semi-new. Like Demon Long, our friend Demon Long, I joke with him once in a while with Sage. I'm like, you're really not even a band, if you think about it. And he kind of, me and him will have to go back and forth. We've done radio together and gotten high as fuck. But I'll be like, dude, you're not really even a band. You play like twice a year. You don't have any live music. You don't engage. Is that a band really? Or is this like something you just do every once in a while? So, Demon, here's for instance, 3 years of me doing shows where I was doing, a lot of shows in Las Vegas. Demon Lung never even played one of my shows. How about that?
Yeah, I mean they practice quite a bit, from my understanding.
That doesn't
I
excite
just
anyone but them.
yeah, I just
That's just
published
me. I'm
an
not calling
interview
out
with them
Sage.
from about a year and a half ago that I did in their practice space, and I just premiered it on YouTube on Sunday, and they've been talking about and working on steadily a new album. So I mean, I would say they're definitely a band, but they're not atypical
The last album was
per
what,
se.
2000?
Yeah, but I mean, if you look at other bands that have played like the long game, they've been around for a long time.
Yeah,
You know, they have like 2 years off, and then they come together. You know,
I got an album.
compose,
or
sharpen
two.
up, do
Yeah.
a tour, and then it's 2 years off again. So
Right,
Yeah.
something like that.
I think
Yeah, I mean, I was like I said, joking, not trying to diss them. But this Kanawha, to get back to Reno, wow, great guitar tone on this stuff. It's just purely good, heavy rock.
yeah, I mean, it definitely bears a kinship with bands like Sasquatch and Clutch. I heard kind of like a little vibe.
I
from-
sense the same.
Yeah. Okay. Good. My antennae aren't entirely off tonight.
Oh, it's not off on the stoner rock stuff.
Okay, that's
you-
good. That's good.
And then you picked a band that has done a show or two for me in the past, and
really?
I'm very love these guys. They're super cool. So
Yeah.
you picked Mountain Tamer.
Mountain Tamer, and the name is alternately spelled with all consonants, which I believe is just 6 letters. And so in my review of their latest single, I said, today I looked up the definition of badass, and all the dictionaries only had 6 letters, and it was Mountain Tamer. So that was my little attempt at a compliment / being clever.
All right.
Mountain
Good
Tamer, California band, heavy psych, with splash of doom, but definitely heavy on the psych. You know, this is some trip out stuff, but with some, with a mean spirited attack. Like this is you're at that point in your high where you're getting a little cranky.
I like
but
the
you're
mean
still high.
spirited to this one in particular because of his vocal style.
Yeah, this is Warlock is the name of this track, and it's from an upcoming album out in September on Heavy Psych Sounds called Psychosis Ritual.
I mean, heavy psych sounds picks them up. And, I mean, that's you get picked up by heavy psych sounds, Ripple or Small Stone. It's fucking impressive. And so I'm really happy for my boys here. I think last time I had them, they were playing with Salem's Bend and the Watchers. I think I had that as a lineup at Vamped. We had a big show. It was my birthday, I think, even.
Cool.
So a couple of years ago. Now, what's interesting about this band? Do you know who produced this album?
No. I mean, I probably do, but I forgot.
It's always weird when people answer
It's probably
that.
my review, And
Right,
I
right.
did link my review, but I didn't want to cheat and read my
It's
own
all right.
reviews, so.
It happens to me too. I get it. Bobby Parker from Salem's Band, who
Oh,
actually
okay.
produced the last album as well.
Right on.
Great guy, unbelievable guy, great band, Salem's Band.
Yeah. What's interesting is that I met these guys at Beers and Hellfest, and I think they were a stand-in for another band that was supposed to be there. I don't remember, but they kind of closed out the night, and I filmed their set, and we were at this venue that just had low lighting, and sometimes next to no lighting. There were points in the night where people were literally pulling out their cell phones just to light the stage.
Wow.
With the little flashlight. So I was lucky to get this footage, and this is like, they commented on Facebook about this, that this footage I shot has like the original versions of a lot of their songs before they became more refined and went to the album stage. So I threw that into my piece, and then of course we debuted Warlock, and they said Warlock drops you in a combat zone with a foe who will obscure the truth, break you down, and change the field of battle without a moment's notice. So you can kind of see this is not like a trip on mushrooms sort of song as much as it is like there's some antagonism going on in here.
I think these boys got flexibility when it comes to when it comes to partying and songwriting.
Yeah, no, they're good. They're good. I can't wait to hear the rest of their album. And honestly,
these guys are a trip, man. They're cool cats.
Yeah.
They're out of LA too, I think, or near it.
Yeah, so like these guys in Radio Moscow are two of my favorite all-time heavy psych bands. They just got that grit to them, you know.
You know what? You just brought some up. I'm gonna try to talk to someone I consider a friend. I'm gonna see if Parker Griggs wants to jump on one day. You want to do that?
Hey, now's the time to call in all those favors, you know. Honestly, not.
All right. Well, next thing you know,
you pull on those.
Osborne.
You pull on those sympathy chords, all right. Let's get them on here.
I'm not an attention whore, but
no, it's not about attention whore. It's about last dying wish.
Yeah, and Maynard to be the one. Oh man, that would trip.
I'll let you do all the talking because I wouldn't know what to say to that guy.
You're intimidating. So fucking
I was intimidated enough by Brant Bjork. I didn't know what to say to him.
I put your shit. Oh, I put something right on you, like with Maynard. I put you right on the spot, just because I know you'll be thankful later that I did it. But you'd hate me when I did it.
I have no idea what you'd say, but
I don't know what it would be, but I'm good like that.
Okay.
But anyways, let's hope I continue to just get better.
Oh yeah,
that would be the key.
For sure.
And so that I can.
But other people don't need to know about your progress of recovery.
Hey, if I'm doing better,
all they need to know is John's very sick right now, and if you could go on the show, it would mean the world to him. I'll do it for you if you want. I mean,
yeah, maybe we'll.
I'm calling on behalf of
I don't want to
John
deceive
Gist.
anyone.
You don't have to. I will.
No. I always said when I used to run sales teams and stuff and marketing teams, I tell people, just tell the truth really good. That's the key. Like I can't stand dirty, lying self. This has nothing to do with you, brother. I'm on a tangent, so let me roll here. I'll get back to you. and so
you preach.
You tell people, they gotta, just think about how to tell the truth right, really good, versus fibbing and lying.
I'm totally with you, man. Like,
yeah,
I see this so much with even in music to a certain degree,
Right.
Like I got asked to rewrite a band's bio. I won't mention the band at this juncture, but they said basically we're embarrassed by this bio that somebody wrote for us. And I read it. It was very good creative writing, but it just tried a little too hard to sell them, and you didn't need it. You just need to share who they genuinely are and their journey, and the facts will speak for themselves,
Sure. Sometimes that's the key, for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But Mountain Tamer, this is a cool band. So
yeah, I mean,
let's give these folks finally some music. Let's give them four songs. All right, so
all right,
let's roll this thing, baby.
All right, we'll be back with more guys on the Doomed and Stone Show.
with the king. Will I ride you? Will I eat it? Oh, having breakfast with the king. Unsung heroes, forgotten brave, halfway to hell, they lie in the grave. Night vision in darkness, the stars are insane. I'll tell the morning light, having breakfast with the king. Hey, will I write you? Will I eat it? Oh, having breakfast with the king. Will I write it? Will I eat it? Oh, having breakfast with the king. So it goes. How'd I end up here? I should have known. All through your life, can't make this shit up. A lot of moving parts and all the world to stay. All through your life, can't make this shit up. A lot of moving parts and all the world
on, Tamer there. We heard Warlock from the upcoming album Psychosis Ritual. And Kanawha brought us Back and Forth from their album The Sky Was First to Fall. Those guys out of Reno. And Goatsnake revealing there was more to Black Age Blues. 2 songs, in fact, and this one was Breakfast with the King. If anybody knows what it means, please email me. And Magic Circle brought us Departed Souls from their album of the same name, Magic Indeed, from last year. Great record. Well, we began this segment by talking about the band Wretch, and we talk about them just as the band The Gates of Slumber have come back together. 2 of the 3 original members are coming together with Steve Janiak from the Devil to Pay, and they're I guess they're already playing and I think coming out with a new album. I really not as up to date as I should be on the Gates of Slumber, but the reason I'm talking about them is because the spin-off from the Gates of Slumber after it met its demise was the band Wretch. And Wretch came out with an album in 2016. It's just a rocking beast, a different kind of animal than the slow, lumbering, solemn doom of the Gates of Slumber. This is doom, but it's got some pep in its step. And we're gonna hear a song called Rest in Peace. And I was just listening to it the other day, and I thought, man, I gotta share this with the listeners. And so we're gonna kick off the next break with this one.
Great pick, my man. I mean, that was a really good album, and good to hear some new stuff coming. Speaking of Janiak from Devil to Pay, he's also in Apostle of Solitude.
Oh, really? No way.
Yeah, guy plays a lot.
Devil to Play headlined Doom and Stone Ohio Fest, and it was late. It was the second night, but those guys just brought in the crowd in small little Ohio pub. They were awesome. So,
Nice.
I definitely, a lot of it's a small scene in Indianapolis, and which is where Wretch is from and Devil to Pay is from. So it doesn't surprise me that he's kind of cross-pollinating in a lot of these bands.
Sure.
And he does some album reviewing too, I think. I don't know. I'm just now reconnecting with my social network.
I don't think that's him that does that.
No, it's a different Steve, huh?
Or no, I mean Chris Latta?
Chris is who I'm thinking, yeah.
Yeah, there you go.
And they look completely different too, so I don't know how I got those two confused in my mind. But anyway,
shit happens,
I think they're both from Indy, right? But
yes.
That's it. That's the connection.
Yeah, they got a bunch of stuff going on over there. I mean, there's a bunch
good
of guys
group of people.
I mean, there's a bunch of people on. Let me put it this way: there's a bunch of people on social media active that are in bands there.
Yeah.
Or have been in bands.
Mm-hmm.
That's it.
All right, well, let's talk about your pick.
Well, this is a band out of Bradford, UK.
Your accent's getting better and better with every episode.
UK?
That was a little off, but...
it doesn't matter. I'm the worst. And I'm sick. I'm even being so stupid. But anyways, the band's Psychlona, another Ripple masterpiece. Ripple put out their last one as well. They have an upcoming album coming out this year, Venus Skytrap. Love that name.
Very clever.
Venus Skytrip.
It would have worked either way, but Skytrip's even better.
Yeah, I thought I had to correct myself there. So anyways, the song Blast Off, it's their initial one. It is psychedelic, far out, cool, heavy psych. It's just really good.
Yeah.
I think I posted it. A number of people were immediately like, whoa, cool.
Yeah, I was listening to it before the show. It sounded really, really good. Yeah, I was listening to, I was just kind of auditing some promos, and I tend to go through them pretty quickly because I download dozens at a time, and you just have to kind of barrel your way through. And I'm telling you, if a band does not know how to vary a beat or vary a riff or add layers of interesting elements or complexity, in other words, just own that beast, then it gets a skip from me. But Psychlona actually kept my interest, and this is not my sweet spot usually musically. I really enjoy heavy psych, but my go-to is usually the more somber stuff.
There's a different heavy psych,
Yeah.
I mean, there are so many little different angles at this point in time in the heavy psych scene that I think has the highest upside of any of it.
Mm-hmm.
I think heavy psych has an incredible upside. There's already bands killing it, and there's a playlist. I don't remember. It's like a heavy psych playlist on Spotify that I use. I don't know whose it is. It's fucking genius.
Mm.
I mean, dude, this music is this kind of music. We're gonna pepper it all through the show. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Mountain Tamer's one kind,
Right.
and then you get the Psychlona thing. And listen, go listen to that first album. Pop it if you ever get out and drive or something. That's an interesting one to just hear. But I'm anticipating the new album is next level. But most people say the same cliche thing. But if this is any indications, we're going in the right direction with that one. And then you pull out a band that I'm aware of that put out a good album out last year, and you gotta plop that in there.
Yeah, I don't know. I think they might have some new music out or a new single or something. Something got me onto the Heavy Minds. Now, a lot of people will not have heard of the Heavy Minds. They've heard of the Heavy Eyes, but not the Heavy Minds.
For a minute, I'm sorry. For a minute, I thought you almost said Heavy Minds, and then I'm getting all fired up because I don't like mimes.
You don't like mimes?
No fucking chance.
I'm not sure how that would actually work as a band. Yeah.
Fuck that.
Yeah,
or
that
like
would.
3 of them didn't. Of course, one guy's singing or something
Yeah.
or whatever, and then the other ones never talk. They don't even open their mouths during the show.
You'd really have to trip to get anything out of that show, man.
Yeah, I'm scared what I would do if I was tripping at that show. I have a mime story involving eating mushrooms in RFK for the Dead concert. So let me just put it this way: that happened, and that's it. That's all I'm telling you.
Okay. I think it's better for that to be left to the imagination.
Yeah. Well, no one's dead.
It's actually funnier that way.
Yeah.
Did you say one of them was dead?
No, I said no one's dead from it.
Oh, okay.
So the Heavy Minds, they have a number of albums. These cats.
Yeah. So they're from Austria, and I wrote in social media this week. I tweeted this out and stuff because I was really kind of happy to hear it again. It's the title track from their album Second Mind from last year, as the title implies. It's their second album, but they're from Austria, and I wrote, in a perfect world, this Austrian heavy psych garage band would be huge, and I really believe that. I mean, I think these guys have gusto, and they're on the Stone Free Records label, which issued Mothers of the Land last show that we did together. So that label is really getting a reputation for excellence. I think they also put out Limestone Whale. So, this is some really good stuff, but I love the effects. I love the old school, garage vibe. I just love the way it mixes different elements into, a nice, broth of just really clean, crisp, and also at the same time kind of jagged rhythms. So yeah, at a certain point your words just fail you. Just listen to this bitching, man. Yeah, I dig their last album. I think I still have on my phone, which means, a lot of times I load on a lot of music onto the phone, or I create a playlist on Spotify, private one, and I've kept this in there for quite a while. So I dig some of the stuff coming from Heavy Minds for sure. Yeah, I discovered it a little bit late last year after it already premiered. I guess the Obelisk premiered it, but I shared it pretty enthusiastically, but it doesn't look like they're sold out on their vinyls yet. So, it still has not gotten the attention I think that it could get. I mean, this is one of those like Radio Moscow, one of those like Ty Segall, you know, or a band we're going to play a little bit later, Lord Loud. It's in that same company. I'd even throw Cadaver in there as early Cadaver is kind of a good comparison.
I'm gonna have to hold out on that one for now. I think Cadaver's a little heavier, even in whatever sense. There's a little more. Well, like I said, there's kind of a level of heavy is quite a bit.
Yeah, this is kind of is heavy, but it's kind of belied by the fact that its rhythm, like I said, is kind of jagged. It's oddly timed, you know, whereas Cadaver's just going to hit you steadily.
Yeah, I loved Cadaver's first album.
Yeah,
like I mean, I bought it early on when I was even kind of during a certain time when I was learning all this new music and stuff. And I was like, that album, I got to get that. Yeah, that and Uncle Acid, I spoke snag.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Cadaver was one of the first bands that really got me deeper into this world. And then I went and saw them with Gypsy Hawk and Scorpion Child up in Portland.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a very good show. I mean, you never get to see any of those bands again.
And there was a fourth band, too. I can't remember. But I got my picture taken with Cadaver. That was back when I was taking pictures with bands more, you know, like it was more of a novelty for me. And then I don't know why I just stopped taking pictures with people.
I forget to do it a lot of times when I'm at the show.
Yeah, that's it. I just forget oftentimes. And I don't really feel like I need to, like, post it up. But for my own memories, honestly, it would be good to have those look back at and say, oh, yeah. You know, because I'm glad I took those pictures. But, yeah, it was a great night. I felt sorry for Scorpion Child. They were headlining, and it was a Sunday night show, and everybody was leaving. And at that point, you know, Scorpion Child were pretty big with a couple hits that they had out. I thought those guys were, you know,
great
destined
band.
for major radio play. They just were.
Well, I mean,
in my mind, they had that radio friendly.
Absolutely. Well, I mean,
vibe.
Radio is what it should be made to be. You know what I mean? And that's the problem. But Scorpion Child was really had a good little kink in there, and they were able to get on Eddie Trunk. That last season of Eddie Trunk, that metal show that aired, you know, they had like 5-6 seasons. I mean, you don't have a TV show for that long if you suck. And Eddie finally came to his senses, was putting on some newer bands and featuring them, and they were one of them that were chosen.
Oh, that's cool.
I think that's a big deal. You know who else was? Get this.
Okay.
Crowbot.
Oh, yeah.
Who is really...
They're big.
They're on the charts over and over now. They came from our scene, period. And then Rival Sons, which later on went to open up for Sad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Pre all that even. And I think maybe there's one other band that they had that year, but Scorpion Child was a big part of it. They had him live, to a live stream interview. Aaron Black is a Trip. He's the front man. Great vocals. Jeez. But I sadly never got to see them live. They came through here, and it was like a midweek show, and there was like a Sunday show, and I was tired, and I knew my wife was going to give me a hard time, so I decided I shouldn't do it. I didn't do it. I missed them and Orange Goblin and that one really cool Lion Eyes and someone else. It was great. I meant one of the best shows that came through town that I missed. It was that one. So anyways.
Yeah, I mean, I'm lucky that I braved a lot of these shows when I was really just young to this whole thing, and I don't know what happened at a certain point. I think it's when I started dipping a stone, honestly. I just got, and I was working full time and going through, you know, relationship shit, and I don't know, at some point I just stopped like going as religiously to shows, but I have nothing but positive memories from those early days. So, you know, get out and see these bands when they hit your town. Obviously, you know, be safe about it. But, you know.
Little Gypsy Hawk, that was with Eric Kluber.
Yeah, and they came, I've seen them twice now. and they came to a small venue called the Black Forest, and actually had the chance to film it. And guess what they opened up with?
No, I don't know.
They had their backs turned to the audience, and with their guitars they started playing the theme to Game of Thrones. That was back when it was a big deal.
Yeah, that makes sense too.
Yeah, and it was the coolest thing, and it's still one of my most popular videos on YouTube. Just
right. I bet that's cool. I'd love to see it sometime. Send me send it over. Yeah, for sure. I saw the other band that I guess two of the guys branched off and did, Gygax or Gygax. You know what I'm talking about?
I know what you're talking about, but I can't place their sound right now. I need to.
They sound like Thin Lizzy, but heavier. Yeah, but about all the mystical Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that. So get this, I saw them with Demon Lung at a house.
Oh, a house show, really?
Yeah, because like there was no one booked them.
Demon Lung has played some strange shows. Like they were telling me in their interview about, just like playing camping shows and things like that, and just where everybody was just in their tents, like tripping out on mushrooms and stuff. And they were like, "Is anyone really listening?" And apparently everybody was, because when they stopped, they were like, "Play more." But it's just like, wow, I can't even imagine Demon Lung out at like a retreat or something like that playing.
It was just in a room, and there was like at least a couple of joints probably floating around. I'm not saying that Demon Lung. I'm not saying anything to do with Demon Lung. I'm not saying it didn't, but I'm not saying it did. There was a lot of people passing around that day, which was awesome. Drugs are bad, but marijuana is not really a drug.
Yeah, exactly.
And so
we don't have that hang up in Oregon anymore.
Yeah, we don't in Vegas either. So it was really just memorable to watch this Gygax band, which or Gygax, whatever, that wants some of that showmanship like you saw. Gypsy Hawk, same frontman, I believe. You picking up what I'm putting down here?
Yeah, I mean, I think I need to revisit them because
it's a small little venue though.
Yeah,
the little house.
Man, there used to be a house show not too far from here in Salem, Oregon. They got shut down, but it was a basement show basically, and I just thought it was the coolest thing ever. And I got a couple bands filmed from down there, and I had to like sit on the ground and just literally like hug the performers virtually to get any footage. But I got some amazing just the ambiance of a house show is just like nothing else, especially a basement show. But
yeah, I'm a snob. I don't even want to do that stuff anymore.
Well, I mean, if you're
I didn't even do it a lot to begin with, even.
Yeah.
Not much, but some. I mean, I went to a lot of shows in college, but the college bars where bands played it wasn't shitty.
Some bands are meant to be theatric, and they need a big platform for that.
And that would be Old Blood.
Exactly.
Man, I like that. Good little intro. Thank you. So I picked Veinscraper, which is off the new album Acid Doom that will be out here. Gosh, it's coming up here really soon. So.
Hey, I'm hearing your train.
Yeah, that motherfucker.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll do it a couple times.
It's good.
Yeah. So, anyways, Old Blood. It's has a new video actually coming out here. I think it's July 3rd or 4th. Has a new video coming out also, maybe Orbit, something like that. So, check them out. They played a live show for me before, and they are absolutely spectacular live. I've seen them with the Lynx version. This sexy woman. Lynx just captivates the crowd. These guys really do a good presence of theater within really, really heavy, different tone music. Heavy keyboards. I mean, or you know what I mean? The synths or whatever. Just whatever's going on there is omnipresent in the sound, while with her commanding presence. Commanding.
And is that the latest singer?
Yep.
Or are you talking about the? Yeah.
Talking about the singer right now.
Yeah. That's.
Lynx.
Lynx is the only one that I really got to know. The earlier singer, I wasn't really into Old Blood at that time, so I'm just kind of catching up with the early stuff, which is really good too. Different tone, but yeah, Lynx is amazing. She is, yeah, that's all I'll say. She's just amazing.
Yeah, she did. They did a great show over at Vamp one night. And the people that showed up early enough, you know, that some people come because of the local bands, others, you know, and people are not going to be there always for all 4 hours. But the people that saw them, I definitely got comments afterwards, which was, I always enjoy that.
Yeah.
People, you know, they give you like, hey, John, that was cool. Thanks for bringing them in, you know. You need to hear that. So,
yeah.
You know, as far as dealing with bands, people have to really like them, even if it's not a lot of people, at least someone does.
Mm-hmm.
And so that was a band that definitely did. And they're cool cats, all of them. Hung out with them before the show. We're all eating and drinking, and it's just, you know, good vibe all around. And when it's showtime, woo, it's, you know what I mean? It's cool. And Tim Peterson's a super cool cat. He listens to this show, and I think she does also some.
Oh, no way.
Check out Old Blood. Look them up on Facebook, and dig in their music and hear a strong female-fronted vocalist just and musicianship surrounding her and theming, and it's different. So
yeah, and they've done a great job of cultivating a following. You know, even just apart from like a quote-unquote scene, just when people go in and hear them, they don't even need to know what stoner is or doom is or anything else. All I know is this band is just amazing. They stole the show, and then they tell their friends, and that's how you build a following. And I see them definitely as a rising star. I mean, they have been for a while, but I see them only going higher.
Right. Well, the important thing right now is the new album comes out, and it's got some memorable, strong songs that will cement, you know, for listeners, some even more. And then live is just, but you hope that they're able to get out there and play live. If not, they have a lot of creativity within the band.
Yeah.
And so doing something, video-wise, which if you check back, you know, some very good video work. This band has, you know, made sure to do that. Mm-hmm. And I think a lot of bands missed the boat on that.
I agree.
They have a visual thing, so good stuff. Even with the transition of singers.
Yeah, you know, I mean, long before I saw bands like High on Fire or Cadaver, I saw their videos, and it just there's just something really special about that. And I think bands need to go to the trouble, even if they don't have the budget to really do something really artistic with it, or
it's not, but it's the budget thing is it's kind of an oddity. It's really not defined, you know. Budget is what you want it to be. So like if a band puts the numbers together and is like, all right, we spend X amount of dollars, I don't know, $500 we'll say, for a video, what are we going to get out of this? And so then they have to think about what are they going to try to get out of it from a standpoint of what's the most important priorities. Is it money? Mm-hmm. Is it money? Like, so, okay, so that's one thing. And is it gaining visibility potentially? I guess that's another one. You know, you can go on, but if a band doesn't want to spend money or something like that, it's probably because they don't think that mathematically it's going to make a difference. And they're not going to get a ton more followers, and they're not going to make any money on merch. That's the only reason why you wouldn't do it, right?
I guess, I mean, if you are just kind of in love with your craft and you want to do something with it, I don't think you really have to worry as much about the audience. Like, look at that.
The audience, you said?
Yeah, exactly. Like,
what do you mean?
You could just create something because you want to create that because it's cool. You know what I'm saying?
Right. And then
so
you
look
hope
at
that other people think it's cool.
Well, you can think it's cool, and people can be damned if they don't. You know, that's kind of the the whole thing with especially music video mediums. Like, they vary so wildly, and sometimes if you hire somebody to direct one for you, they'll pick something that's intentionally an odd concept. But like, some of my favorite videos are the simplest, like Primitive Blast by The Shrine. It's just one guy in a room, black and white, tripping out to the song Primitive Blast, and that sticks out.
I don't think there's any cookie cutter. There should never be a cookie cutter version when it comes to creativity. And there's where the video thing comes in, along with the art, the person behind driving the commercial, or driving the video. That's the commercial. Like, see how it slipped up?
Exactly.
But that falls under the same umbrella and family. I mean, listen, I look at things differently because it was
It's good to have that
for
perspective,
25 years.
honestly. It's honestly good to have that perspective. Right.
25 years, two Fortune 500 companies, 4 or 5 turnaround departments, one of the worst doing. So I like to think in certain ways. Because it's very easy to do it.
It's good for me to temper my opinions with that too,
Yeah, for me, it doesn't mean it's the only way.
Sure,
People get all weird and think that's what I'm saying. I'm like, why do you think that? It's probably going to be the other person.
All over the place.
It actually made that a problem. So you just want to help people along the way, man.
Exactly. Well, let's help our listeners right now by giving them a heaping helping of our hospitality by way of Old Blood, The Heady Minds, Psychlona, and Wretch. Be back with our third segment on the Doomed and Stone Show in moments.
All the second stage tanks now pressurized. 30 seconds at a time.
That was Veinscraper by Old Blood from the album Acid Doom. Before that, we heard from the Heavy Minds from that great album Second Mind, which I'm a big advocate of. We heard the title track. And Psychlona brought us Blast Off from the excellently titled Venus Sky Trip. We open this segment with Wretch. The song is Rest in Peace. And now we move on to our third segment. John, you get to kick us off.
Yeah, that Wretch one was critically acclaimed, that's for darn sure. When it came out, it's a good one. Well, I started it out with a band here that I got into in 2019, really dug their sound. I wouldn't really call them a stoner rock band or anything like that. They're really more of a pure, for me, heavy rock band, which of course stoner rock falls underneath that umbrella. Great vocals. The name of the band is Warlung, and that's all one word. So Warlung. And it's off the album Immortal Portal. Say that 4 times real fast. And the song I picked is 1970. No Son of Mine, I almost picked. Outstanding song, too. They're understandable lyrics. They got a little story to them. Outstanding singing and actually just musicianship. They're a younger band out of Houston, Texas. It's their second album. Funny story, I hit them up last year to potentially come over and do a show in Vegas. It's just we couldn't get them other shows kind of set up along the way again. I was a big proponent in somebody signing this band. So lo and behold, I see the announcement the other day, and our buddy Gabe over at Heavy Psych picked them up.
Fantastic.
This was your first little glimpse in a while, I guess, to Warlock. What was your thoughts of the song I picked?
Well, I just remembered that Bucky and I had talked about them last year when we were doing the monthly Doom Charts countdown together. And I believe they were on the Doom Charts, or at least they were a band that he brought to the table in the first segment where we all brought our unique discoveries. So I got to know them a little bit better, and I've had some interaction with the band. I'll have to look and see, but we may have debuted a single by them. In any event, I'd never really listened to the lyrics to 1970. It's really deep. Like, it's an actual soul-searching conversation that a young man is having about his life. He's feeling he's no good at school. He's looking for something real. He's 18 and life seems cruel. And then his only options seem to, I'm implying, join the military and go shoot people.
What's the name of the song?
1970.
Which would be Vietnam War. So I don't know if it's kind of obviously about 70, but really about now, which of course the same thing constantly happens regardless anyways.
Right.
And I agree. It is a song that really touches down a story about, you know, someone that's just trying to figure this shit out and is confused and not feeling that great about it.
Well, it gets clear as the song goes along. It says, fighting for the wrong side, didn't know the whole time. Then it says, heroes to losers with decorated purple hearts, sleep with the city on veterans boulevards. Yes, you're dying for it. So I don't totally get all of that, but it seems a little anti-war. So this was a very popular sentiment among young people. They were feeling very disaffected in the late 60s, early 70s, and feeling like, hey, we don't have a lot of options.
And we were in such a worthless waste of a war. I mean, I've always been an anti-war person myself, but being a Gen X and growing up in the D.C. area, the Cold War was the scariest one of all of them.
It really was.
You know, honestly, every day living, I mean, I don't even try to pretend it's more than it is. I mean, literally, when you grow up 15 minutes from the CIA building in D.C., and your parents work for the federal government, we'll say, that kind of thing is instilled in you to many degrees. I mean, the Russians and Chinese they were fucking communist. That's the way it was put, you know what I mean? A natural enemy. So it's interesting that when they harken back to that, when I was in the 80s and early 90s, people loved talking about the late 60s, you know, the hippie generation thing. And it was usually a positive thing, you know? So it's pretty interesting to when you hear a song like this, it kind of gives it that duality.
It does, yeah. And just thinking of memories from when I was a kid in the 80s, I remember 2 distinct memories that just continued to stay with me. One was going over to, you know, some mutual friend's house with my parents, and their son was watching The Morning After on network television. And so I actually got to see a big chunk of that movie. It scared the living shit out of me, man.
I mean, Red Dawn came out.
I never saw Red Dawn at the time. I've seen it since, but I was pretty young by the time that came out. The other incident was when we went over to some religious people's houses, and this particular couple had a whole survival bookshelf with all of the things to do as a survivalist, and they mentioned that they were finishing up the final touches on their bomb shelter in their backyard. And I'm thinking to myself the whole time, not are these people crazy? I'm thinking, we don't have a bomb shelter. What are we going to do when this happens, you know? And they were convinced, they had the scripture verse, the whole prophecies lined up that this was going to happen. Yeah. And so you look at a young, impressionable, 10, 11-year-old, that's going to freak you the fuck out.
Yeah. We had a bomb drill in elementary school, so I remember going underneath the
I remember one of those, yeah.
I mean, it's undoubtedly one of the most retarded things ever, probably. But, if there was a nuclear... I'm not sure if that little shitty desk from the 60s is going to protect me. Yeah. And we literally had the loud, the loudspeakers. It was above our field.
Right.
Yellow ones. It was just in the midst of these trees. I used to play sports and field day and all that in that little field. Every once in a while we get a little glimpse into the 70s. Music does that. And what's interesting is you pick a band from the same kind of early era, end of hippie era kind of thing, 71. You pick this band.
I chose Bang because we had referenced them a few weeks back, and you mentioned that you didn't really, you couldn't really place them musically. And so I thought, I'm going to make John listen to Bang this week.
Yeah.
And this song, Questions, just so happens to coincide lyrically with Warlung's Send Back to 1970. Well, this is written in 1971, so this is the authentic reflection of younger people who are asking questions. And the main chorus is, questions all around me, questions bring me down. I remember the first time I heard this song and this whole album Bang was when Tony Reed was setting up to play with Moss Generator right before St. Vitus opened at a venue in Portland. And
nice.
I don't usually, ask people about the soundtrack, but I asked him, I was like, who is this? I've never heard them before. Like, this is like the most amazing thing I've heard. It's just a very unique, distinct sound, and I want this in my life. And he introduced me to Bang. He was very happy to. That's the history behind that, and I'm really pleased Ripple Music kind of came to the rescue and brought them back to life in 2018 with a nice compilation. We almost had them play the Doom and Stone Festival and just didn't quite work out. 2018 was a bad year for us. We had a great lineup planned, and for one reason or another, people breaking legs, vans breaking down, people wanting more money, we just ended up with a different lineup. Fortunately, Wino stepped in to save the day and became our headliner over Bang, so I guess it's not a bad trade-off. Yeah, but great guys. Don't have anything bad to say about them.
That's interesting. I know obviously Todd Severin, I've talked to him about these guys before. I think Mike Varney, of course. Mike Varney and Todd, they get together and they do like CD shopping when they're ever in town together. And it's like hours of an adventure. It's like an epic kind of thing. And these guys are into that kind of early 70s obscure bands. Same with Parker Griggs from Radio Moscow. Just loves this kind of stuff. We have a gentleman musician here in town, Neil Merriweather, that I've met and has even gone to a show or two of mine. And he's from like one of these super psychedelic bands from back then that was popular. You're going to ask me who, and I'm going to be like, I'll try to find it. So I thought that was an intriguing pick and good stuff.
Well, it kind of shifts a little bit stylistically and takes us to modern times for your next pick.
Yeah, this is me pushing the boundaries to the to the furthest maybe, but this is a band I believe in more than almost any band out there as far as what they are doing, the authenticity of their music. Band's called The Cold Stairs. They were on Small Stone Records, which of course is one of the top stoner rock, ones out there. And this band just really brings an authentic blues-based storytelling, but good old-fashioned get-down guitar rock. It's a two-man band. guitar and drums.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
The Cold Stairs. And they have an album coming out in July. It's an EP called Black Sunset. So putting that out there. And the name of the song I picked was The Wicked and the Cursed. And again, with all his songs, all their songs, their lyrics worthy of listening to. And if you like them, you probably end up singing them sometimes. I mean, it's a very clean vocal, very, I'd say it's in that neighborhood of dirty streets, rival sons,
Yeah,
heavy eyes.
good one. Yeah.
And they know all those, but probably rival sons. And he might even know them because Cold Stairs played a couple festivals last year, and we're supposed to do some big ones this year. So their Spotify plays are out of the roof, and they just write great songs. I'm very lucky to have them play a show over here at Vamped with us, at Counts Vamped. And we had an unbelievable lineup we just kind of put together. And it had this band. Oh, I'm embarrassed. I can't even think of the band off the top of my head. But it had musicians in it. It had Brian Tishy in it, who's like a famous drummer in the metal community. Brian Tishy. And he had a band. It was a 3-piece band. And they debuted that night also. And we had a guy, Frankie Perez, who had played Sons of Anarchy like 3 or 4 times. He's the guy that did See Me Falling Down. Yeah. With the Chili Pepper remake, which I think was also a remake. So anyways, long story short, these guys are the coolest cats. They're really good live and just good old-fashioned, good songwriting, rock and roll.
All right. Yeah.
And I saw what you had next, and though it's different, I love that band so much, and there is a certain coolness to them that I really thought kind of is a decent mix together.
Yeah, so Brimstone Coven, always been a nominal fan. It wasn't until I saw him live at the first inaugural Doom and Stone Festival in 2016 that I just became a convert. And I know since then there's been a little bit of a lineup change, but they've still got that unique vocal harmony thing going on, and it's not just like Alice in Chains type vocal harmony. This is like something that relates to a region of the United States that feels very much connected with the mountains,
Well,
the
obviously,
backwoods.
yeah. Where are they from?
You got me there. Is it Virginia?
Ooh! For us Virginians, there's nothing wrong with it, but it's West Virginia.
West Virginia.
From the hotbed of West Virginia of music. And Brimstone Coven, I don't know if you didn't mention, but they changed vocalists.
I alluded to that, but you probably know more about that than I do.
That's it. Just gonna give you that part. And I like the last album maybe better than the previous stuff, and I like the previous stuff pretty good. The last time I was like, yeah, this is good.
Well, let me ask you this. How do you think they were treated by Metal Blade Records? Because they're no longer on Metal Blade. They are going to be on Ripple Music.
Yeah, here's what I didn't know, that they were with Metal Blade at one time.
They had 3 albums with them, right?
They had never paid attention to it. How about that?
Well, I mean, that may be the problem. It was a bit of a mismatch, and I understand that all labels want to diversify their portfolios. I think it's a good idea to cross-pollinate and get your audience potentially interested in other bands, but I just never felt like they were treated well by Metal Blade.
Because you're right. And the problem is these labels do need to diversify. This is actually like a dream job for me, is to help a label like be able to move things over and then expand it, but be good at the music we're talking about, so we know what we're doing versus, you know what I mean? Being a fan of it and understanding it versus you're acquiring them because they sound pretty good, but you got to know where to put the ads and how to get it out there and who to market it to. I mean, it's a different world. And it's pretty impressive. Metal Blade and now Ripple. I mean, that's 2 really good labels. I remember when Todd told me, I was like, whoa, that's a nice one.
There was just a crash, and my lights out. I have no idea what happened, but I know it was my cats knocking something down, and I just hoped it wasn't expensive equipment.
Probably wasn't an earthquake.
It felt like it was a minor earthquake. All right, what's going on, guys?
Really? Or you just think the cats jump around?
No, it was just the shit getting knocked down. I don't even see any evidence of it, but of course my room's a mess, so.
Right.
We'll carry back on, but that was definitely a crash.
Wacky wild stuff. I didn't hear
Yeah, wild things happening tonight.
There you go.
Well, let's Let's take a break and we'll give a chance for things to settle down here and maybe psych up our audience for a final segment, which will happen in moments on the Doomed and Stoned show.
Can't get a job, no good at school. All of my life I've been looking for something real. Now I'm 18 and life is cruel. Uncle Sam's coming and he's looking to make a deal. Fighting for the wrong side. Didn't know the whole time. Thought that it was alright. Killing in the name of pride. Brave through the nightmare of falling for another scheme. Into the silence, waiting for tomorrow's dream. Yeah, you're dying for air. Horror, the horror got you all confused. Pacing through the jungle, looking for carnal curves. Memories of shame gotta heal with booze. Hope you feel calm, 'cause we're looking to make you hurt. Fighting for the wrong side. Didn't know the whole time. Thought that it was alright. Killing in the name of pride. Heroes to losers with decorated purple hearts. Sleep with the city, from veterans pull our parts. Yeah, you're dying for air. side. A black sun with an evening tide. Oh, be careful who you give your ear. Backbiters, syndicators, they ain't no discriminators. So be careful who you bring round here. That's right, you hear. Up around a bend, you'll see it clear by then.
Brand new stuff from Brimstone Coven. That was the Inferno from The Woes of Mortal Earth. Or is it Mortal? I wrote Moral Earth. So I'm pretty sure it's Mortal Earth. But
We're all hoping it's a moral.
it would be kind of interesting to call it The Woes of Moral Earth. But anyway, it's coming out on Ripple Music. We got a first listen to that, which is pretty awesome. And John introduced us to The Cold Stairs, not a new band by any means, but got a new record coming out, Black Sunset. We heard The Wicked and the Cursed, and Bang asked us a bunch of questions and gave us some la la la's to go along with it. It's one of the songs that will stick in your noggin for a while. That's from their self-titled album from '71. And speaking of the 70s, we went all the way back to 1970 and saw that through the eyes of Warlung. That's off their 2018 album, Immortal Portal. And moving forward, we have another one from Lord Loud, who we introduced you to early on in the season. Their album is Timid Beast, and they just keep dropping more and more singles from there. They got 4 of them now. This still ain't coming out until September. They're keeping lock and key on that. I haven't even gotten a promo. I don't think I do. Maybe they did sneak me an advanced listen, but or maybe I just dreamed it. But we get to hear today the title track to Timid Beast, and this is what I describe as a stinging Cali heavy psych garage rock band, and I like that little sting to them. I like the fact they've got some a little bit of poison, a little bit of edge there.
Yeah,
that
sure.
Makes them sound badass. You know, this is in that same Ty Segall school of heavy psych.
2-man band too, right?
2-man band, yeah.
All right. Yeah, great song. I've liked everything I've heard from them. Yeah, you know, at the minimal, liked. So.
Yeah,
good
we'll
stuff.
see how the album holds up as a whole. Sometimes, you know, if it's just a collection of one hit after another, album-wise, it may not flow. But then again, sometimes you do want to hear just one good hit after another.
Sure. Didn't they just put an album out not that long ago, really?
Yeah, a couple of years ago. I think
couple years ago?
It may have been an EP. Yeah, I'll have to
Look
check
this shit up.
Right. Yeah, so this would have been in 2017, so yes, a couple years ago. And it was one that got quite a bit of acclaim. If you look at the Bandcamp sales and you look at all the comments, that alone tells you it was very well received. It was called Passe Paranoia from 17. And then before that, they came out with an EP and lacked a little bit of imagination in what they called it. They just called it NEP, which I don't quite know what that means, but it was a 6-track record. So, yeah, you always have that debate whether something's an EP or an LP based on the number of tracks, but I think it ultimately goes over by the length, you know. Can that get over that half-hour mark? Then you're a little bit closer to LP territory.
Right.
Yeah, but Timid Beast has 11 tracks on it, and it's definitely on the heftier side. The longest track is 4 minutes long, so these are going to be shorter, sassier numbers. I'm looking forward to reviewing this baby.
Right on. Yeah. When you played them on a previous show we did together,
I think it was like our 3rd or 4th show.
What was it off of?
It was at the time we played from the same release, and
right.
I want to say it was Without You. That was the song, yeah.
Right.
The second track.
It's a good band, man. It's been enjoyable. Well, I've picked a band that sometime earlier this year, it passed through me, and I listened to it, and I kind of kept it around. And I'm like, you know what? This is a kind of a cool band to just kind of, the good song, good enough to put them on the show. So I picked the band Goatriders out of Sweden. How would you pronounce that city?
Well, I don't know that I want to pronounce it. Let's see. I don't see it in your notes here. I just see Sweden.
No, I don't have it in my notes. I thought maybe you were looking at Bandcamp. It's like Linkoping.
Oh, I know which one you're talking about. I copy and paste that one instead of even trying to spell it out. Plus, it has a little symbol on it, so I don't even mess with the pronunciation there.
Sure.
So.
Well,
it always reminds me of lingonberries for some reason, but.
Well, I picked the song "Hound of the Gods," and it's off the album "The Magician's Keep," which came out earlier this year. And this album's 5 songs total. And Songs from Mars, which finishes up the album, is almost 11 minutes long. And none of their songs are less than 5.5. So big, full songs here. They definitely got that traditional Swedish kind of stoner rock feel to them to some degree, but there's other things in there also. And definitely great guitar to it. So check them out.
Yeah, I really like the Goatriders album art too.
The skulls and everything on the
well, it's just kind of quaint. There's a feeling like it's kind of like a step back into the past, the vintage clothing, the traditional garb of Sweden, and then that pointy wizard hat. And so you kind of wonder, who is this guy? Yeah, but then when you take a look at the goats, you have your answer.
Well, let me do a timeout. I mean, really. When we look, we're like, holy shit. There's these 4 goats, and they got crazy, like animal heads on them, the skulls. But right next to them, standing up, is a coffin.
Are they coming out of that coffin?
I mean, it doesn't look like there's enough room in there for that, but it could be one of those creepy coffins.
It could be a portal.
Sure. You just walk in, the back's an illusion anyways. Bloop, gone.
Exactly.
So they came out like that. Wherever I was, probably freaking out, unless I'm like, we're summoning help.
He's sending them somewhere, and I want to know what he's up to. Like, maybe the villagers are picking on him, and he's like, okay, that's it.
We might be hungry.
Demon goats from hell.
He's gonna catch the
You're
villagers,
getting it.
eat them.
You're getting it.
The Merlin is gonna eat them. Is what he's thinking. He's gonna get them out there and fatten them up, and he's even gonna eat these things.
It could be, or just send them out on the crops.
Yeah, that's it. They're protecting the crops.
Yeah.
So what do you got next year?
Well, I picked an oldie but a goodie from Turn Me On Dead Man. First of all, John, have you heard of this band?
I have not.
And that surprises, shocks, and saddens me, because they are one great hell of a acid psychedelic space pop band out of San Francisco. They've got a long history that spans into the first decade of the 2000s, I think even going back to 1998 or 99. But of course we know it's kind of named after a Beatles meme. Turn Me On Dead Man wasn't that the backward message or something like that that they found?
Paul is Dead was in one of them.
Yeah, and I think the other one was Turn Me On Dead Man. But so great name. Great homage to the Beatles. There's not a lot of Beatles-esque harmonies and things like that, but there's definitely, they've got the down-tuned guitar, so there's got plenty of low end for those of you who really like that shit. It gets spacey, but it also has got that kind of pop sensibility, kind of like the band Witch.
You brought up that word pop a few times, which makes me
I don't really know
the word pop just makes me immediately like it wins.
Yeah,
like it's like a weird blink in my left eye or something.
When I use the word pop, I'm using the word pop in the classic 60s sense.
Either way, but I get you.
Good vibrations.
Right, Beach Boys.
The Beatles. Music that you can sing
Beatles
along
are a lot
to.
of different sounds. Jeez.
Music you can basically sing along to, or that just appeals to that feel good. It feels good, It's like, that song kind of makes me feel good, and that's what I get from Turn Me On Dead Man. They also do some really trippy, kind of evil sounding stuff too. So they've had one album that was very heavy on the metal side, but always with that underlying space driven psychedelic framework.
Right.
And we're gonna go to song
I'm looking forward to hearing
Fantasia.
it.
Yeah, I think this one will win you over.
Right on.
Unless you're just totally end up opposed to that sound or that approach.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I'm very picky. I mean, I'm saying that I've always told people I don't even try to pretend. I have a picky nature, but I always appreciate when a band can do some type of music really good, like be one of the tops. I kind of appreciate that. Like when you can tell that they're good live, and that means something sometimes.
Agreed. Yeah, and these guys played Beers and Hells Fest, which I still regret missing last year. Man, Chrome Ghost was there, Turn Me On Dead Man, two of my favorite bands to listen to from afar. But man, I gotta see them live at some point. And Beers and Hell wasn't far from where I was. The plane ride wouldn't have been that expensive. But at the time, I think I was just so married to my job, I just didn't think I could break away.
Right. Where are these guys from?
San Francisco, yeah.
San Francisco.
Yeah.
I mean, I've never. Okay, they play live sometimes. A lot.
Yeah, they were slated to play Heavy Psych Sounds Fest in February.
Oh.
Yeah.
Nice.
And then they're going to be playing a song, Lord Willing, with Nebula and Sasquatch in September.
September? Yeah, we'll see about that. That sounded pretty.
Yeah.
I don't think things look too good right now. For
September is basically month after next, so.
Yeah, that's what I mean. We're looking
and then
at
the month after
summer.
that is October. I'm starting to get scared from Maryland Doomfest. Knock on wood, though, because I wish that the very best, especially since I have, some money invested now in the travel.
Yeah.
I'm probably, not getting refunded for any of that shit. Maybe the hotel. Maybe the hotel, but.
Yeah, hotels, you probably didn't even have to put a deposit down, right? You
yeah.
just get a card.
Exactly.
Yeah, you're probably cool.
Yeah, hotel is by far more expensive than the plane tickets. I still am amazed I got a round trip from Oregon to Maryland for $200.
Ah,
yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, that is really good. Well, then you probably got luggage fees.
Nope. You get. I
Southwest?
With United I would have, but I'm flying American. American and Alaskan waived the first bag. It's not a check-in, it's carry-on, but I pride myself on getting.
Oh, it's not a check-in. Okay.
No, I'm not going to carry out a bunch of luggage. Are you kidding me? I have a backpack, and I'm going to live out of that backpack for the entire fest.
Right. I
So
got to
that
roll away.
means, maybe I'll bring, one pair of jeans to change into, but for the most part, I'm living the rock and roll lifestyle for those 4 days.
Oh, down and dirty.
Down and
Did
dirty is
something
right.
like that to the Grateful Dead twice.
But I'm going to
2 nights.
remember to wash my hands and wear that mask. That's the main thing.
Oh,
Right.
yeah.
Change your clothes. I mean, come on.
Well, theoretically, you probably should change those too.
Yeah.
But anyways, well, how about we finish up with the final song?
I'd like it. What do you got in store for us?
Well, not too far from the neighborhood you were just talking over there in Maryland, just the state up, is the band The Stone Eye out of Philadelphia. Gonna give you this song At Sixes and Sevens, and this is off their 2020 release Ventura. 3 albums before this and 2 EPs, so these guys got a unique sound. It blends in definitely some different kinds of influences.
Mm-hmm.
Definitely a little bit of, I heard a little Queen Stone Age, some in there, but then there's some other things that are just slower and probably more I would hand to you. Like, what else do you feel in there? What maybe you've heard of them?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember whether this was one of the bands that we supported when we did a little promotional thing with Eye of the Stone Goat 5 or something like that years and years ago. But what I know from, because I listened to their album last year, is just they have that really solid, recognizable Eastern U.S. sound that we've come to know from heavy music, and that's really going to dominate Maryland Doomfest this year.
A lot of good bands in that Philly area. I mean, a lot.
Oh yeah,
There's bands I've liked for years and years that are over there. It's good stuff.
Yeah, there's a very unique strain of doom stoner music that has grown up in that
Age
area.
of Truth, just a humongous
Age of
fan
Truth,
of those
mhm.
guys. They even came out and did a two-show West Coast thing.
Yeah.
They play one of my shows, and I think those guys are stupendous.
Yeah, I hear they like to party.
Yeah, they definitely were drinking their ass off.
Okay.
I mean,
I figured you would know about it if it was the case.
Well, yeah, I'm drinking with them.
They played Chicago Doom and Stone Fest 1, which I missed, but I heard the stories basically that they brought their, camper and they just partied in the back lot of Reggie's for the whole weekend.
Oh my God, over
having the time of their life.
That's cool. Yeah, they're good. They're good cats. Really put on a hell of a show at Vamped. I mean, it was rocking.
Mm-hmm.
Like he took some people for shock because my man, the lead vocalist, he's intense.
Yeah.
He had a lot of room to breathe, Billy, at Vamped. Like it's, you know what I mean? Like you have a nice big stage and it's got a little up thing, so it like a lift. And so you can like sing right there over the crowd theoretically, because there's no barrier. And he got his ass down there and he was out in the middle of the floor.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and some people aren't used to that. Mostly for some guy out of nowhere. He was kind of fake. I laughed my ass off. Man, it was so good. Yeah, they got new stuff coming too. Age of Truth. Good old William Miller.
Right on, man.
That was an update I got a little while back, and for people that heard that first album, I mean, that for a debut album, that was ridiculous how solid it was.
Yeah.
So I can't wait to hear something new on that. But Stone Eye comes out of Philadelphia, and they got a cool little sound. It's different stuff going on in their album. So it's not even all themed the same kind of song whatsoever. So you just got to kind of remember that.
I was gonna see if we included them on our compilation, Doom and Stone Philadelphia, which we did about 2 years ago, because that may be where I last encountered them.
This little song right here, it's got a different little groove than most of the rest of the album, and probably the most Queens of the Stone Age, at least a little bit in there. And they had other stuff that was slow and even psychedelic kind of thing going on. So I think it's an intriguing album that's done well, so people should check it out.
Right on, man. Here's what I wrote about the Stone Eye in 2018. I said, it's been a busy summer. We're catching up with a lot of good listening. One album you might have missed comes from the grungy Philly Doom Trio. So I described them as a Philly Doom Trio at that point. The Stone Eye. Fans of Alice in Chains, take note. Our New York contributor Tom Hanno gives some of the latest, his take on their latest record, blah, blah, blah.
Good old Tom.
Yeah, so
that's awesome.
Apparently, at least for that album, they were sporting kind of a doom sound. Yeah, this was the Stone Eye. Yeah, absolutely same band.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's some different sounds going on even within an album, and then textured in a different way in the earlier stuff.
Yeah, I did put stoner rock, hard rock in the keywords, so I'm sure that I kind of heard that out of the sound too. So definitely, like I said, that's the characteristic of a lot of bands coming out of
everywhere.
The New England states and so forth. Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, dude, we have wrapped up the show. We made it through, despite COVID-19.
Live
on
COVID-19.
Yes.
Thank God I'm on the upside, and
I hope so.
Much less pain than that most unbearable shit I've ever gone through. It's like a nightmare. So I'm pretty happy to be out, at least out of that side of it.
You're sounding chipper, definitely.
Yeah, well, you know what makes me chipper, Billy? Talking about music. So
me too.
I'm excited to do it with you again.
Always does it for me, yeah. Well, cool. Well, we're going to do it on the regular, and some of you guys may have been noticing I've been throwing in some extra shows with special guests, but the John and Billy series definitely continues strong, and kind of consider this our main thing, and then I'll throw out the special theme shows with special guests here and there, just because I'm really enjoying this podcasting. Like, I think what I'm enjoying most is like reaching out to people and having them kind of share in that experience, and not everybody has the same acclamation for being a podcaster or being a guest on a podcast, or some are a little shy and so forth. But as long as I feel like they've got something interesting to share. I like to, eventually introduce you to as many band members and people behind the scenes, and just help you to understand this world that we live in. And as often as possible, John and I will join forces to talk to them. So
Right on,
stay
brother.
tuned. Good things happening in the future. Of course, you can always support what we do at patreon.com/doomed and stone. We're still kind of raising funds for a professional mic for John. So although I'll tell you, since we switched from Skype to Zoom, the audio's definitely improved, man.
Is that amazing or what? With the same little iPhone headset I just stuck in there.
I'm telling you, yeah.
From
Well,
like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
This
Well,
is
we're still getting you that one, though, because I know it's just gonna be a huge game changer. But anyways, that's the kind of thing we use money for. So we don't have a lot of patrons, just a little humble thing, but we do appreciate your support of the program. And definitely the most important thing to do, share around and get people excited about this whole heavy scene, because the more we share, the more love the bands get. And the best thing we could see happen out of any of this are these bands elevated to greater heights. I was about to say,
Fans deserve it that we feel good enough about putting on the show. I mean, I don't know, Billy. I mean, you get a zillion things, whatever 6, 8, 10, 15 songs put on there, most people should by now know your taste and trust it. If it's
yeah, I just won't put on stuff that I don't feel, man. And John's the same way. So, and the two of us kind of interplaying together, we do get a nice balance there, so we don't miss a whole lot. So it's working out really well. Been enjoying the year unfolding. This will be episode number 22, and we look forward to hearing your thoughts on it. So until we meet again, have a good one, stay safe, and doom on.
See ya.
Does anybody have the time?
5 after 12.
Okay, that's enough for today. On Monday, we'll talk about another pattern that might be of interest to all of you, cannibalism. Have a good weekend.
The preceding was a presentation of Doomed and Stoned.